you don't know how to act. Yeah, I'm pointing out facts. If I point a finger, that's point of attack. Good point, who's next? Flag on the plate, now I'm causing them death. We bet on ourselves, so what you expect? A die-hard fan, never live with regret. Yes, sir. Go to my neck. Burgundy flex. Who wants the smoke? We bringing it home. Beat like gas. Look how we step. Who we got next? Step on the right, step on the left. Who do we rep? Commanders. Where my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where my soldiers? Left side. Commanders. Where my soldiers? Watch the middle. Commanders. Where my soldiers? High off the way that this sound, they turn up as soon as they feed the ground. I am not playing around. I hit them, I bet that they feeling me now.
Welcome, one and all across the nation and around the world. I welcome you all to episode 31 of the Commanders Gridiron Report here on the last part of Halloween. Happy Halloween. I am Drew Willingham, the host of this program, and was in attendance this past weekend during what could have been the game of the year, at least the game ending of the year. I happened to be there. Got this jersey ahead of time because I knew that they were wearing these alternate jerseys on this day. They were wearing it at week 8 as well as week 13 in the upcoming game then as well. So, yes, was rocking this jersey. Got many clips to go through in this episode, some tailgating stuff, some during game stuff. I was very fortunate to enjoy the game, and my man Paul Kelly took pictures during the game for us, a couple of videos that I'll show, throughout this as well. And as well as, some stuff afterwards. Shout out to Darrell Owens for also taking the pictures during the game, because we do have some of those pictures to show during this broadcast, as well as you can go check out my Instagram, Facebook page, personal pages, and check that stuff out as well. Tried to do this earlier today, but the internet reception was not working all that great. And I'm hardwired in. I don't use Wi-Fi. I just think that because of all the trick-or-treating going on, and all the usage of the internet, probably the Wi-Fi hotspots in the area probably affected it, because my internet was bogged down earlier. I tried to do it. It just did not work. So that's why we're getting a late start, but still making it happen on Halloween. The reception here is good. I'm looking good and sounding good, at least on my end. You guys tell me here in the comments what you think, but we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Show you the clips brought to you by
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Let's go and get this thing started with the 1st and 10.
They are the Washington Commanders. New name, new marks, new uniform.
Soldiers, are we ready for Operation Burgundy?
And here with the 1st and 10, we have to talk about a game that was pretty sloppy. Kind of reminded me of a Tim Tebow-like game from back in the day, where it was sloppy for about three and a half quarters almost, until the action really happened towards the end of the game. The Commanders were winning by 4 field goals, 12-0, when all of a sudden Chicago Bears get up with the score to get it to 12-7. Then another one with a 2-point conversion to get it to 15-12 with about 25 seconds left. And that's when Jayden Daniels gets the ball and leads one epic drive that we're going to go through in this game. But we had to do that in the Burgundy Flex review. But just to acknowledge the fact, 18-15, we got pictures of the game, even of the Hail Mary catch that we're going to go through here in the Burgundy Flex review. But with the 1st and 10, I like to get this thing started with just looking at how bad the game was. It was on pace to be one of the worst games of the year. Luckily, on this day, me being in attendance as a fan, first time not working it in the media in several years, first time going as a fan in 8 years, definitely indulged in some adult beverages on that day. Had a good time, very good time. Shout out to my man Paul Kelly for driving, as well as, being a great person to hang out with, because I've got one great story to tell you throughout this episode. But here and now, as we start this off, acknowledging the fact that the Commanders are 6-2. as Jayden Daniels HAIL Mary lifted that team into an epic finish over the mother, father, and Bears. Here that we talk about this here at 11:40 at night. We are live. This is not pre-recorded. I did not pre-record this earlier. You can drop the comments in here as we got many, many things to talk about in this show. But yes, the 1st and 10, this team pulled it off and won 18 to mother, father, and 15 while I was in attendance. This would have been great to watch it on TV. But, before the game, we went and hit the team store, and I got the number 1 foam finger. Did not think that it was going to be very useful this week. I thought, there was a potential that the Bears defense could have affected a team that we didn't know which quarterback was going to start at first. Had no idea if Jayden Daniels was going to start or if Marcus Mariota was going to start. So I go on the team store. I'm still going in, still not sure. It wasn't until we walked to our seats, sat down, and our seats were nice. I'll at least show you this before we get started. This is where we were sitting. This is the section. We were right here, and this is the view. This was the exact spot in the end zone where the catch happened that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But we had this kind of view for this play. This was the other side of the field, but we were looking at it from about right here. But these are pictures that my man Darrell Owens and others that were there contributed to as well. But we were sitting right here, right within that 10-yard line, looking at it about right here in this angle. So looking at it for what it is, that is what we were looking at in this game. So right here and now, 1st and 10, we got many pictures to go through. I'm going to go through all that and much more throughout this episode. That's just like a preview. We got a foam finger, got the jersey beforehand. So I was rocking the jersey they were rocking that day. And I've already got the tattoo of the old school logo. You already know how it is. You got to stay loyal to your team, even if they change the name. Not happy about it. But that's why tonight, rocking the SHOWSTOPPER media hat. I can hook you up with getting one if you wanted to fit a hat like I got right now. If you want to do that, you can. But just right now, just like in wrestling with the bloodline for the NFC East, we the ones. So just remember that right now if you're a fan of this team. But yes, let's go ahead and take this into the Burgundy Flex review where we get to go through all those pictures, videos of tailgating, and much more. Let's go ahead and take it into the Burgundy Flex review.
Go to my neck, Burgundy Flex. Who wants the smoke? We bringing it home. Be my guest.
And here with the Burgundy Flex review, we're going to look at highlights from the game, but we're also going to look at highlights from before the game even started because, yes, I was in attendance, as I said earlier in the show. As you've seen through other content that I've done this week while I've had time off from work, I've been participating in other shows and talking about what I experienced this past weekend, but I saved the best for this show. I saved the most in-depth because we have videos, photos, much more. I'll probably have to go and find some other stuff during the commercial break that I forgot and show it towards the end of the episode because there was so much stuff that I tried to cram in. I don't know if I got it all in or not. We're about to find out. So when we get this thing started, we have to take a look at how you tailgate because tailgate, the experience is very important. You've got to have the right stuff. And with my man, Paul Kelly, we made sure that we had it right. Paul Kelly about to do what he does best, cook food. Maybe not what he does best, but part of the things that he does best. Master Chef. I want to make sure I bleep that part out, though. Marinated some chicken. What is that in there again? Jalapeno juice and carrots?
Jalapenos and carrots and all the juice that goes with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get one in the bag. That's all the stuff he had it marinated in.
Throw some meat church fajita on it.
That's what I'm talking about. Hell's Kitchen doesn't even know what's up with this one. Yeah. So that's as we're getting it set up. We had much more things. I got to find the pictures of like actually putting the tailgate together, but I did do a video that I uploaded earlier where you can actually see what the tailgate looks like. Let's go ahead and Showed that one.
Here we go, Ryan. It's probably sold out by now.
This cooler right here speaks America. Coolers from the 50 in the little grill. I'll tell you, let's show them what's inside. This is our other camera guy.
Got some Mexican chicken going on.
Got the seats set up. Paul Kelly already got a video of us in the red zone. So what do you think? What do you think about our tailgate right there? It's pretty tight. You know, we had the table set up, we had the little grill. You saw the before where the prep was pretty much coming out the bag. The chicken was going in after it was marinated, going onto the grill. The one thing that sucked about the tailgate and took so much time that Paul Kelly would probably say that was the only blemish on the day, which still isn't much to complain about, was the fact that with that type of grill setup, it took so long to cook the chicken. It took so long to cook the chicken. We only got 2 sandwiches apiece, but those sandwiches were good enough to rock for the entire day. We know we had chips, other things, other snack stuff too. And of course, adult beverages. Did have a good amount. It was the first time I drank in quite some time and definitely enjoyed it. But, definitely had that good median to where I still remember everything about that day. But I also remembered that even though I kind of hung out like I was in my 20s, I'm not in my 20s anymore. It took a couple of days. That's why I'm glad I'm on vacation this week from work, because my body would not be able to function at work this week had I done all that and then gone to work the next day, because usually I'm at work on Monday. But anyway, definitely enjoying the vacation this week, just those of you out there wondering. But yes, this was part of it. My voice is just now starting to come back too, which is why I kind of put the show off until later in the week, because I wanted to make sure that I could actually discuss the experience along with showing these clips. But along with having the food that we cooked, along with having the tailgating experience, I had to have some shenanigans, and that's what I did with this clip right here.
People, I am D. Willie, and this is how you motherfathering tailgate with Red Zone on a phone from a video on another phone. You can have it right here in the parking lot if you have a phone and another phone. Recording a phone with video on it. On another video. This message is brought to you by D. Willie Ware, SHOWSTOPPER Media, where it is the struggle to be real, to be awesome.
So that right there was me having some shenanigans right there with this little phone mount that I keep telling everybody, whoever I see, in life, whether it's friends or coworkers too, like at work, I told them about this freaking little arm thing that you see in the video that's holding my phone. And Paul Kelly recorded this. It's a cool thing. That's one cool thing about iPhones. He's able to airdrop all this stuff over to me as I'm doing the shenanigans. He's recording. And shout out to him again, because he recorded and took photos the entire day, because I just wanted to enjoy the experience. It's the first time being back after so much has happened. And it was a great time. And so we talk about the food in that clip. This is the after effect. My man can cook. Paul Kelly definitely was trying to get on Hell's Kitchen, was part of the, contestants. It was part of the qualifying round to get onto Hell's Kitchen, didn't quite make it, but he's still one awesome chef to be around. I mean, look at this chicken. This is before I put the top on it and put the tomato and stuff on it. Man, if I can go back to that time right now and eat that sandwich, it's a great sandwich to have. I'm not joshing you around. You saw it. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it if you did not see it. The part where he shows it coming out of the bag that was marinated. If you think I'm bluffing, I'm serious. Some good chicken. So before I show you the other last clips that we have, around the day, again, this is where we were sitting right here, close to the end zone, about 6 rows up. And this is where our view is. So we're right there. We saw that Hail Mary play that I'm about to break down some clips of. So we're walking into the stadium, and this is pretty much us. I showed you the foam finger. This is pretty much us walking through about right before we go into the team store.
Paul Kelly and I are out here.
What up?
Walking through championship belt. Paul Kelly.
So yeah, for some reason it didn't want to take the other Paul Kelly out, but so you heard Paul Kelly twice. But yes, after that event, I came out with the foam finger. You can see Paul Kelly was wearing a different jersey at that time because he bought, he was wearing the Redskins jersey. He ended up buying a Commanders jersey while we were there. The cool thing about his size is he is of the size that you can go into a store like that, and they have plenty of size for normal adult sizes. I'm a little bit bigger, so I need the big boned edition. I ordered mine on the website several weeks ahead of time since we planned this thing out. I was ready to go. Plus, I already knew they were going to probably not have this jersey in my size anyway, and I was correct. And yes, very, very great game to watch. So we walk into the stadium. Again, this is Caleb Williams coming to town. Caleb Williams is here to take on Jayden Daniels, number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick in this past draft. You got to look at Jayden Daniels right here, what he was able to do leading up to this season, point to where he was 5-2 with this team coming into this game. The crowd right here, that's myself and Paul Kelly. We got a picture while we were in the crowd. So just showing you all those clips of us, pregame. My man Darrell Owens hooked us up a Bowie TV with this picture right here, and we're in the crowd enjoying what we're watching, because even though at that point when he took this picture, we were up by mere field goals, it was still a blowout, in my opinion, because it was a shutout, and I was there witnessing it. And even if it was an ugly game by field goals, like when they won against the Giants, 7 field goals to 6, I would have accepted it. I would have accepted it for what it is. But it didn't happen because we got more action later in the game, which I got more footage to show you with that. So again, we're in the crowd. We're chilling. We're watching this game. But we're not really chilling because I never sat down the entire game. I stood up the entire time. As you have Jayden Daniels versus Caleb Williams right here. And my guy, Terry McLaurin right here. This is the jersey that I have on right now. He's got action going in this game as well, because if it wasn't for that out route that he had towards the end of the game to set up that Hail Mary, we wouldn't be talking about these results here on this Thursday. Looking at Caleb Williams, this is one where the defense got to him. The Commanders' defense definitely was able to put pressure on the Bears' offensive line, getting to Williams at times throughout the day to definitely have him struggling at points. But you got to look at his connection with DJ Moore here, and as well right here. I mean, these were not counted touchdowns. They came back to the penalties, but you got to look at the fact that they were definitely in sync with one another. So right here, Paul Kelly and I, our seats, so we get pretty good seats. We ended up winning a prize, and I forgot to bring it with me here into this spot for the recording to show you what we got. But he ended up getting 2 beer koozies. 2 Commanders beer koozies was part of this that was in his chair, so he gave me one. He kept the other. This was the winning prize right here that we were able to redeem once we got to halftime. That was the only thing that kind of was the blemish too, because by the time we got that and then one more adult beverage and got back to our seat, the third quarter had just started, but we hadn't missed much. So it is what it is. But looking at it for what it is, we still got some swag from the team for free. And we also were able to catch most of the game, and we saw definitely the most important part that I'm about to cover in a second. So Jayden Daniels, you can see right here, he's got the pressure from Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat definitely made an impact in this game, definitely coming back home after being traded to the Bears last season. Definitely wanted to make a statement in his return. You got to look at what Montez did. He had 3 tackles with 1 assist, and he also did have 1 sack that you can attribute to within these photos that I'm about to show you, between right there, right here, and right here as well. Definitely the pressure he was putting on Daniels throughout the day, testing those ribs to see how bad they were. And just as I suspected, they were just bruised ribs. So everything is okay there. So after getting our winning prize that we got there at halftime, we came back to see this. Jayden Daniels scrambling around, making plays out here in the second half, he did his job, even though it took a 50-plus yard pass at the end to get him over 300 yards. He did have 326 yards on the day with 1 touchdown and no turnovers. So 21 to 38 for attempts as far as passing to completions. He did pretty good, as well as when you got to look at the fact that he also had 8 carries for 52 yards with those bad ribs. So looking at it for what it is, he had a pretty gutsy performance. So we're going to get to the very, very end here. They're up 12-0. All of a sudden, the Bears start to get some life. I mean, they start to really get some life here in the third quarter when they got a touchdown from DeAndre Swift, 56-yard run, got them within 5 points. Commanders were up 12-7 with 43 seconds left in the third quarter. Get to the fourth quarter, they scored another touchdown merely in the next possession when they had a 1-yard touchdown from Rashawn Johnson to go up 15-12. Well, it wasn't the next possession. It was with 25 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Looking at that for what it was, 15-12, up by a field goal with 25 seconds left. Pretty much a Hail Mary would decide this game, and that's what it was. As Noah Brown would take a 52-yard Hail Mary that pretty much off this dink and dunk right here. Well, doink and dunk, I would say, because dink and dunks are like little 5-yard pass outs. Right here, a 52-yard bomb because someone wanted to be out of position because they were taunting the crowd, but I'll get into that here in a second. It comes at that, it dinked and doinked, or whatever you want to say, off of the crowd right there into Noah Brown's hands. And again, this happened in the end zone that we were watching. We had this view of that touchdown right there. Literally where that ref is where Noah Brown is catching that ball on this play. We're watching it. You got to look at our reaction right here. I'm with the crowd right there. Some new people that I met, they're subscribers to the channel. They could be watching right now for all I know. As well as me and Paul Kelly. Beer was definitely in hand, enjoying the day. On this play right here, as Noah Brown catches this pass for the touchdown and for the score, as we do have a couple comments. Looks like Ike is in the house saying, yo, along with you were there with the question mark. Yes, sir, I definitely was there this past weekend, and you'll have to go back and check out the rest if you have not been watching to check out my point of view from leading up into the game into now, as we're just now talking about the Hail Mary. So this happens. God, you got someone who's out of position. Someone who absolutely proved that he is a dumpster Pelican. And that being Tyreek Stevenson. And usually I don't say somebody who had 7 tackles on the day with 2 assists being a dumpster Pelican on the day. But when you get to where you're taunting the crowd because you went up by 3 points, and remember there's 25 seconds left, and you are playing against him being Jayden Daniels, the man who's been scrambling around for Montez Sweat all game. You want to test him. I'm talking about him. And I'm talking about him, Jayden Daniels. Hail Mary comes in. Doinks off the pile right there is what I meant to say earlier, not the crowd, the pile. Into the hands of Noah Brown. And we're going wild in the crowd. Everybody's loving it. This is after the game, after people have started piling out. Bears fans are distraught. I even had a Bears fan hold the Sartoba Media Championship. So, yes, you ask if I was there, Ike. I left your comment up here for a reason. Because there's a Chicago Bears fan holding the Sartoba Media Championship after the game ended. Man. Game over. What do you think about that? Bears fan holding the belt after the game ended. You ask if I was there. I think that answers it enough. During the Bears game, the Sartoba Media Championship is in the hands of another. There it is. From that Hail Mary play to the Bears fan holding it. What do you think? Let me know out here in the comments. As after the game, I was able to get up with my man Darrell Owens here. Got a nice little picture right here. Thank you, Paul Kelly, for taking that. As Darrell was the one who was behind the crowd picture right here, took that of me and Paul Kelly. There's other ones that I have that I could definitely show you as well. About to pull those up during the commercial break because I've got that, and I've also got Darrell holding the belt, which I figured were the most important ones because this one was probably my favorite out of all of them. He gave me about 5 great shots that I figured had to give him this shout out. Mr. Darrell Owens doing great work for Bowie TV. Shout out to him. Shout out to what he's doing for Legacy Maker Sports Network as well. But the big thing, the Bears fan held the belt after the game. Guys, when we go to that, we also had an interruption. I was trying to do a post-game report, and I had a Bears fan come up to me and interrupt. Just check it out.
Toss that ball up in the air.
Washington's still not a playoff team.
And this motherfather just interrupted my interview. But right here, we're going to keep going because we're going to have a great time. Shout out to Dude Man who came on over. But straight up, 12-7 going into the last of the fourth quarter. Jayden Daniels, after the Bears scored a touchdown, went for a 2-point conversion. They were down 15-12. All they needed.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Yeah, it was a short clip on purpose. Shortly after that, I literally just started doing that. And somebody right beside us was starting to truck up, and it got kind of loud, and there was like exhaust coming through, and the shot it wasn't all that great from that point forward. So that's why I only showed just that short clip. But from that point forward, the fans, I got to say, at least from this play, when this moment happened, I was turning to one person, giving him a hug, jumping up and down, turned to Paul Kelly at first, did the same thing. Then it was turned to the next person, giving him a hug, jumping up and down. It was an electric moment to be in the stands for this game, for this ending. Hugging each other, jumping up and down, embracing the moment. This is something you'll be able to tell your grandkids about, your neighbor about, whoever about. This moment, this Hail Mary, the doink from the pile, to the catch from Noah Brown, to the Paul Kelly and I going off in the crowd. That's exactly what happened in this game. You have to love it. If you are a fan of this team or not, and we won a prize on this day, which was a beer koozie. Still nice. 2 beer koozies. We definitely won a prize. It was fun. You have to be proud of us for this experience, to be there and take the time to do it. I know I am. We're not quite there yet on the final drive, but that's the final part of the Burgundy Flex, an extended Burgundy Flex review. I wasn't really expecting too much fan engagement tonight because of how late we're going, because normally I would do this show earlier in the day, but because of the internet acting up earlier, because of, the holiday, a lot of people in the area, a lot of traffic, and the football game tonight, figured I'd wait till the dumpster fire of a game that would be over. But for right here and now, I'm going to go ahead and take this into our first commercial break. We still have to get to our Soldiers of the Week. We have to get to our Showstopper of the Week, as well as our Opponent of the Week and the Final Drive. We have much more to talk about on this show. But with that being said, I'll see you on the other side of this first commercial break.
Commanders, where my soldiers, right side. Commanders, where my soldiers, left side.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, look, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie Bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. $D Willie 87. Go ahead, hit him up on the Cash App and go ahead and give him some Willie the bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. Some Willie bucks.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered a winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
Commanders, where my soldiers, right side. Commanders, where my soldiers, left side.
Welcome back to the Commanders Gridiron Report, episode 31 here on Halloween. Well, now it's after midnight, so I guess it's not Halloween anymore. As we talked about, Jayden Daniels Hail Mary lifts Commanders an epic finish over the Bears. We got much more to talk about, as we also have to talk about our MVPs of the week, the showstopper, this upcoming opponent, and much more. I'll see you here on the other side of this nice transition.
Where my soldiers, right side. Commanders, where my soldiers, left side.
Nice! As we talk about the soldiers of the week, I've got Noah Brown with 3 receptions, 73 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, that being the Hail Mary that he received from Jayden Daniels, who was 21 of 38 for 326 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown, along with 8 carries for 52 yards on the ground, combined for 373 total yards between rushing and passing. Along with Terry McLaurin's 5 receptions for 125 yards. Those round out my MVPs, which we call the Soldiers of the Week here on this program. What do you think? Also, these are actual in-game picks of what they did this past week. Got those picks, put them in this actual graphic. I did that. Yes, me. Yes, that was me. And that is here. And I am here. Now we're talking about the Soldiers of the Week. So Jayden Daniels, definitely probably the number 1 MVP of the week because he was the one that led the charge. Noah Brown, definitely up there for the discussion for second, but I think Terry McLaurin for his leadership with the 125 receiving yards, setting up that play at the end as well with that out route that he got for a 12-yard catch at midfield to set them up for that 55-yard Hail Mary at the end. Yeah, I give him props. I would say he's probably my number 2 on this list. Noah Brown's my number 3, but Jayden Daniels definitely by far coming out there. Gutsy performance for what he did with getting the ribs banged up the previous week, coming out there and leading this team to victory. Jayden Daniels is my number 1 soldier of the week here with what he did, not only in the air, but on the ground as well. He did have a rough go about it throughout the game with the completions, the percentage rate, but you got to look at the defense he was playing against. He had the pressure. He also was, gutting it out after getting those ribs banged up the previous week. And Noah Brown saved him right there at the end. But I think a lot of that has to go to Mr. Stevenson there for the Bears, Mr. Tyreek Stevenson being out of position because he wanted to run his mouth. So speaking of running mouths, we still have to talk about the showstopper and run our mouths and what we could say the Commanders could change from this past week and what they can improve on going into this upcoming Week 9 contest against another team that we're going to talk about. A team that field goal versus field goal. Don't get me started. But that being the showstopper right here, and this transition is next.
I off the way that this sound, they turn up as soon as they feed the ground. I am not playing around. I hit them, I bet that they feeling me now.
You know, a lot of times people want to still relish in the win, but we have to take a look back at what was going on in this win that could have gone differently and helped them put more points on the board to where it wasn't as close. You know, I still have been saying this all year long. This team needs help in the secondary. They're doing pretty well up front. They're doing pretty well in the mid. Secondary is not looking that great. You know, the linebacking core, I like what Luvu's doing. You know, it sucks with Jonathan Allen getting hurt, but they're making do. They're doing a pretty solid job over there with that Dan Quinn defense. But I have to say, their secondary definitely, you know, they're dropping the ball. They dropped the ball literally when Caleb Williams led that team to 2 touchdowns right there at the end, in the end of the third quarter, and then the end of the fourth quarter to go up by a field goal pretty much with 3 points after the 2-point conversion to, you know, basically put you in the spot that you had to do a Hail Mary. Percentage-wise, that usually doesn't work out. Got lucky in that aspect, but to draw up the play for one, to have a quarterback that can heave the ball at the size that he is, and to actually get that play in the spot, get the ball in the spot for their play to be made to begin with. I don't even know if Tyreek Stevenson, if his head was in it, he was lined up in the correct spot as being back there with Noah Brown. If he would have been able to stop that from being made, if Noah Brown's right there to catch it, I think it was literally meant from the heavens above for Noah Brown to catch that ball. You can't, there's nothing you can do to improve as far as that goes. That's why I would say Jayden Daniels, the big thing he has to work on, because they say that he's looking at VR headsets and stuff for practice outside of practice, like when he's at home. Like when I'm doing podcasts or when you're playing video games or watching other podcasts or we're all in our downtime, Jayden Daniels sitting there with a VR headset looking at other plays and basically simulations of how different plays run about to where he's ready to read defenses when he comes into games. Well, I feel like he did a decent job as far as reading the defense, but the pressure was a little bit too much in certain spots, which is why he was 21 of 38 with his completions on the day. I mean, he had 17 incompletions. That's basically my point. He almost was 50% on completions. He was barely above 50. So looking at that for what it is, that's why I've been saying all year long that I could see this team needing to upgrade with another guard and another tackle, one on the blind side and one on the other, because that would definitely help out, because they've made those moves this past offseason, but they didn't make enough. I like Nick Algoretti, and I like the leadership that he's bringing to that offensive line, but it's not quite enough to get the job done. So with that being said, I feel like certain adjustments that they need to improve on, they can't do right now in this season unless you make some trades, because you do have 4 days left. You still have 4 days left within the trade deadline, with now being Friday after midnight. We started this on a Thursday, and we started it so late that we're now rolled into Friday. But now being Friday, you have 4 days left to trade. It's unless you can find a great secondary move, with making a trade to get someone there, or another spot on the offensive line, this team is not going to go far in the playoffs. I can see the team making the playoffs at this point. And I told you it was going to be after week 8 that I could definitely start talking like this. What I saw as far as a team that's gritty, that can come back, especially with very little time on the clock, and they've done it multiple times now. But this in the biggest fashion though. I would say for Jayden Daniels, he's definitely got it. And this team is definitely feeling it off of his confidence and off of his swag. This is the success is by the leadership of the team with Dan Quinn and the culture that they've set, but also with what they're getting out of the players is a lot on the shoulders of Jayden Daniels. He's doing a great job. I know Marcus Mariota did a great job last week against the Panthers, but it's the Panthers, you guys. Like, come on. It's the Panthers. This week, they had the Bears. They actually had a pretty tough matchup. So a team that gives my guy Hawk out there, if he's watching or seeing this at some point, gives his team, the Lions, because that's a divisional opponent for him, gives him a tough time. So with what we did helps them out, even though the Lions are going to take that division easy. I've got them as my NFC pick to represent in the Super Bowl. So I've been saying that since the beginning of the season, and they haven't done anything to change my mind otherwise. So right here and now, when we say this, when we get back to the point of what they have to improve on, protection for Jayden Daniels, what they need to improve on, and mainly in passing situations, because in running situations, they did okay. I mean, Brian Robinson Jr. got 16 carries off, but he only got 65 yards. So averaging 4 yards per carry is not too bad. But at the same time, for Brian Robinson Jr., you expect more, but they were running against a pretty good defensive front. It's led by one of your old teammates over there, or one of your old team members in Montez Sweat. So right here and now, when we look at this, Brian Robinson Jr. did his job on the ground, but Jayden Daniels is what the spark is, because with this type of offensive line, Sam Howell probably would still be leading the league in sacks. And I know I was drinking the Kool-Aid on Sam Howell for 2 years, and I said, give him a chance. I just saw something in him. Well, I was wrong. Jayden Daniels is him, and they made a great choice. The Bears might have done a good choice for Caleb Williams for the entire future. But what the Commanders got with the drafting of Jayden Daniels was a actual franchise changer. And if he stays healthy, we can see something special for the next decade over here for this team. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Bears could too. They've got a really great offense. They got a really great defense. They need some help on offense as well. And you got to look at what the Lions are doing over there. So they're going to be tough for the Bears for a very long time. So it's going to be a toss-up here in years to come. But right now, at least we can say for 2024, Jayden Daniels led Commanders got the one over the Bears, and they got it while I was in attendance. So if you want to go back and see all the pictures and all the videos that you missed that I was clicking on from the experience, feel free to do that now or after the live stream. If you have not clicked the like button, please click the like button, click the share button. Help your boy out. Let's get this video on out there. Get some more people in here, as we're going to be live probably for another 20 minutes or so, because I still have some more things to go over with you. And you're probably going to smack me in the mouth when I got to say this part right here. But we do have to take one more commercial break, because the showstopper is now over. We've talked about the fact they need to change a couple things with their pass protection, and they need to make some adjustments on their secondary for defense. But unless they can make it within the personnel that they have now, in the maneuvers they have right here and now between now and November 5th for the trade deadline, you're stuck with what you got. And you're just going to have to work with what you got until the end of this year. With that being said, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we come back, I got some more fire to bring you, because we still have to give you a breakdown for this upcoming game against a divisional opponent. All that and more after this last commercial break.
Commanders, where's my soldiers? Right side. Commanders, where's my soldiers? Left side.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look. Hey, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie Bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. Hey, $ D Willie 87. Go ahead and hit him up on the Cash App and go ahead and give him some Willie Bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie Bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. How about some Willie Bucks?
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commanders Gridiron Report. If you want your Commanders to be rep right, well, D. Willie is your man. Commanders Gridiron Report, every Tuesday at 1:05 p.m. Eastern, 12:05 a.m. Central, on the Showstopper Media YouTube channel. Music by J.KUL.
Where my soldiers, right side, Commanders. Where my soldiers, left side, Commanders. Who do we rep? Commanders. Where my soldiers, right side, Commanders. Where my soldiers, left side.
Welcome back to Commanders Gridiron Report, episode 31. We are back to discuss this past week's game that we have previously broken down, and it's time to get into the upcoming game of the week. Let's go ahead and take it into the opponent of the week.
Look how we step. Who we got next? Step on the right, step on the left. Who do we rep?
This upcoming week, Commanders travel to New York, New Jersey, take on the New York Giants. This game was ugly last time, and it could be ugly again. 7 field goals to 6 is pretty much what it was last time, 21-18. Austin Seibert set a franchise record on that day. He was just signed off the street a couple days prior to that to beat the Giants when the Commanders faced them at home during week 2. And now during week 9, November 3rd, they face off again, this time in New Jersey. Sunday, 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. Commanders versus the Giants. My thoughts.
Ain't nobody care. Who cares? Ain't nobody care.
I don't think many people, or we'll say much of the people out there who like football, are going to care about this game at all, because we all know that based on the way the Commanders have been playing, based on the way the Giants have been playing between the two teams, I think we know who's going to take the... All right, now.
Let me talk to you.
When it comes to this game, Giants are going to win.
Hell to the no, no. Hell no, to the no.
Do you really think that I think that? No, I'd expect you to say this.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Shout out to my man Dante, who is just popped up in here. Shout out to him for being here in the comments. Yes, what is up, my man? We are talking about the commies, and we're talking about which team this upcoming weekend in week 9 between the Commanders and the Giants, which one of these teams are going to take the... Is it a total surprise?
Surprise, motherfucker.
I don't know if it is or not. I think you all know who's going to take it.
What?
You all know who's going to lose this game.
What?
You all know who's going to take the... To those of you just joining us.
What's that? What's that?
Dante says Washington wins by 40. Oh, I would definitely feel this way if it happened.
You like that? You like that?
Oh, I'd be liking it just as much as I would like it for this man to tell the New York Giants to do this.
Stop it. Get some help.
Because they really do need some help. I mean, I'm serious. They really do need some help. I mean, it's so bad that they have become this. They have become a laughingstock. Now, because it is a division game,
Let's get ready to rumble!
Yes, the G-men are very, very bad at football right now, but it is a division game. That's why you got to look at the fact that the Commanders only won 21-18 the last time they faced off against each other. Okay. So I don't think it's going to be as low scoring as that in comparison to the fact they can't get any points on the board touchdown wise. Like the offense wouldn't be able to score. They'd have to rely on their special teams. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Austin Seibert out there at least 3 or 4 times, but not 7. I think that Jayden Daniels will be able to lead him to a score. But at the same time, depending on how bad his ribs are banged up, if, he sustained a little bit more impact to that in this past game, I wouldn't be surprised if they sit him this game to rest up so that way he'd be good to go against the Steelers the following week at home, because that's a pretty big game. That's a pretty big test, too. You had a pretty big test when you got to face off against the Ravens a couple weeks ago, and it'll be a pretty big test to face off against the actual Steelers with that defense that they have. So looking at it for what it is, I think it'd be a pretty good idea if they sat Jayden Daniels this upcoming week and they actually waited until the Steelers game to put him in. Dante says that Philly beat them by 25 running the ball, so 40 is not out of reach. I mean, yeah, I can see it happening. I can see it happening, but at the same time, I also see it being a score that be 10 points or less when you think about the fact that it was a field goal fest when they faced off in week 2. A lot has happened. It's been 7 weeks, and the Commanders have gotten hot, and definitely the Giants have remained cold, and they need a lot of help. I just played the clip earlier of what they need to do and how they need to do it. But right here and now, I can see it being a close game within 10 points. Commanders had a pretty tough spot this past week, but it was against a solid defense. At the same time, you look at what they did against the Panthers, and it's like what you said, what the Philly did against them. I could see it being a game similar to when they played the Panthers, 40-7, 40-10, if the Giants can even score that many points, because Danny Pennies, I swear, man, Danny Pennies has been living up to his name. I know they called him Danny Dimes, but he has been playing like Danny mother-fathering Pennies. What in the father? They have been taking so many. It's like you suck so bad that you want me to click the button, you lose just so you can hear the button be clicked. Remember, if you're new to the channel, subscribe now and never miss out on new mother-fathering content. And if you're also just tuning in, please click that like button. Help your boy out here in the algorithm. Let's get these shenanigans out here, because we're talking about shenanigans and football, and you don't want to miss out. Got the comedy show kicking off here pretty soon. But yes, I think we all know when it comes to this game, somebody's taking it, and it's going to be the Giants taking the... If you're a Giants fan watching this, you're probably thinking,
now, that is absurd.
Dante says, I love the fact there's no way the Giants get a quarterback to make the division interesting. I mean, who would be available this offseason that you really could build a team around? I mean, unless they're going to get one of the top 5 picks, but I don't see Shadur Sanders going to New York. I just don't. That's a discussion for another day, and for Total Football Talk on Mondays, because we don't talk about all things football here. We only talk about the Commanders and how you can do creative things with tailgates.
People, I am D. Willie, and this is how you mother-fathering tailgates with Red Zone on a phone from a video on another phone. You can add it right here in the parking lot if you have a phone and another phone. Recording a phone with video on it. on another video. This message is brought to you by D. Willie Ware, Surtoba Media, where it is the struggle to be real, to be awesome.
If you're just now tuning in, we just basically broke down what was going to happen in this upcoming Week 9 contest between the Commanders and the Giants, as the Commanders will be traveling to New York to take on the 2-6 Giants. The 6-2 Commanders will improve to 7-2. They will defeat the Giants this week in New Jersey. Giants will fall to 2-7. Opposite side, mirrored record for the other divisional team. I feel like it will be close. It's going to be 10 points or less. Is going to be what my prediction is. It could easily go the other way, but I just feel like that's the way it's going to go in this game. With that being said, it's time for us to take it into the final drive. There are no more commercials. The commercials are over, but we have one more transition to watch, and that is the final drive.
We bet on ourselves, so what you expect? A diehard fan of a never regret. Yes.
Here for the final drives, basically where I give my closing thoughts heading into the upcoming week. Probably a last minute recap of certain things as well. As thank you to those of you who've joined in pretty late here in the broadcast. It is 12:30. I usually am not doing podcasts at this time, especially on a Thursday. Usually I'm at work. I'm on PTO this week, so had to take some time off again. Like I said, first off in the show, I had to recover. Whew, I've done a podcast every day since I came back from the game on Sunday, but still I wouldn't be able to do this much content and be able to get the other things done that I've done this week without having the time. So it was nice. Also get some grandpa naps in, but that's enough of me personally. You know, the fact that I was able to be at this game last week was an absolute blessing for one, you know, to be able to do the things that we've all done in a year, you know, everybody work, you know, build a foundation outside of, you know, what we do with hobbies like this. You know, I built up something pretty cool here, but to be able to take the time to enjoy it and to be able to get some content while I was there to be able to share with you guys throughout this episode was pretty cool. It's something I can't do every home game. I don't have money like that. I don't have vacation time like that. I don't have the time to recover. I don't have the time to take off to recover like that every time. So, and I don't know if I could top that, you know, again, to be honest, like that. I'm going to go back, of course, but not this year. You can't top that type of win, you know, after that. And as much as I kind of want to, because people are saying that Paul Kelly and I should go back this year, because every time that he and I go to a football game since we started going in 2011, there's been years of gap in between, but every time we go, the team is undefeated. Past two times they were the Redskins, and they won in 2011 and they won in 2016 when we went. And this year in 2024 as the Commanders, they won. And it was the craziest ending to the game. And it's one of the craziest ending to a game I've ever seen. And I would have felt the same way watching it on TV as far as what I'd seen. But what I felt when I was there, for this moment right here, for this Hail Mary catch, I swear it was absolutely wild. To have that happen, to win a prize, to have this moment in the crowd, you know, with my man Paul Kelly and the people around us that we made some friendships out of. This people subscribed to the channel that were there as well. To have a Bears fan hold the belt after the game that had just lost, hold the Surtoba Media Championship, to get up with my guy Darrell, who took the photo of us in the crowd. You know, it was a full circle moment to be there for this past week's game. You know, have a couple cold ones like in this picture, hold the belt up. It was a great time sitting right here, looking at it right here. I saw that play in the end zone. You can't take that away from me. You really can't. With here in the final drive, there's people out there. I'm going to touch up on something. This is my mother, father, and program, my mother, father, and platform. And this is my mother, father, and week off. And I can say whatever the father I want. Hi, I'm Drew Willingham. Apparently, I'm the mother, father, and man. That's what they've been telling me this week. But I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm just a dude. It's a dude who's out there doing what he can to have a good time with the people around me. There's haters all over the place. Talk smack all over the place and are jealous because they might be married to somebody who they're not happy with or whatever. It makes their day suck. And then they got to find a way to make themselves feel good. Try to turn your gears a little bit. Well, when you're not around, look at what happens. So good things are coming. Some relocations are coming. Some advancements are coming. 2025 is going to be nice. I got to finish 2024 off with something pretty sweet. I got to enjoy this year. And this year was a redeeming year for my football team and for Drew Willingham here. So I hope one of the haters is watching right now. Hi. So right here and now, this has been a fun experience. Certain things, that happen that suck when like your team sucks, when an environment sucks or whatever the case may be. You just got to stay strong, keep pushing forward, do what you're supposed to, and things will work out. That's what the Commanders did. That's what I did. Look at the kind of win that happened when I got to go there. It's not, they didn't win because of me, but because the type of win that I got to experience when I was there makes everything else, makes it all worth it. And we're not done yet, boys. So we'll see what happens. Looking forward to it. Hope you've all enjoyed this program. Hope you've all enjoyed the football team, formerly known as the Washington Team of Football, #WTF, Washington Football Team, WFT, whatever, Washington Redskins. They're tattooed on my arm, yes, whatever you want to say. Probably call me words, I don't care. Sticks and stones will break my bones. Words don't hurt, mother father. It's the whole point of a podcast. I can sit up here and say whatever I want. So, and I can get all hyped too. I can do whatever I want on this thing because it's mine. Commanders trip was mine. It was Paul Kelly's. It was our trip. It was fun. It was exciting. It was a blast. And I hope all of you who are watching this, whether you're a fan of this team, you're just a fan of me, a hater of me, and you want to watch this to see what I say, whatever the case may be. I hope you get to experience what I experienced with your team and not just on TV. Because it would have been nice to experience that on TV, but it was even better to experience that as a fan. And heading into week 9, as I give my closing thoughts going into week 9, and we're not going to see anything like what we just saw in this upcoming game. It's not going to come down to that. The Commanders would revert to a very bad team if they played to that manner against the Giants. Okay, let's just be real. It's not happening. Even when they play the Steelers, it's not going to happen that way. They need to step their game up in certain areas that I mentioned earlier, like their secondary and their pass protection. That these certain things that I brought up, I don't think they're going to be able to acknowledge until they bring in a couple pieces during the offseason, which I talked about all that during this episode. Kind of weaved in and out of some things too, because it's people with, who have similar aspects to their delivery would do with how they're wording it. Like what I did. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the program. This program is brought to you by
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
You have some more comments I want to acknowledge before we get the father out of here. Dante has been saying this. Says, last year I said, being honest, it was a great idea to get rid of your players for the draft picks with the season that y'all had. What is your Super Bowl window with this team? Okay, so this is something that I talked about in Total Football Talk the other day. I think if they make some really strong moves and retain some really strong players who have some contracts that may be ending up in the next year or two, this team could see the Super Bowl in the next 3 to 4 years. If they have their contract set up right, if everybody stays healthy, and if they continue to add the right pieces along the way, I can see them make the Super Bowl before 2030. but sometime within the 2020s. It'd take about 3 to 4 seasons. It's not going to happen in the next year or two. The Detroit Lions are absolutely a nasty team, and if the Lions don't make the Super Bowl this year, they're going to make it next year. But they're my NFC pick this year, and I've been saying this since the season even started. With what happened with Aiden Hutchinson, it sucks. But from a man Hawk out there, I've been picking the Lions, not just for Hawk, but I've been saying it. I've been saying the Lions are a strong team even before I knew Hawk since last year. Like, they've been on the rise. I really like Dan Campbell's attitude. It's the same thing that what we're witnessing in Washington is not a near mirror image, but very similar as far as you change the culture and the results will come. And that's what's happening very fast for Washington. But they also had some decent pieces that were already there. McLaurin, De'Ami Brown, and in the pieces they brought in this offseason as well. They've got 17 new starters out of 22 total starters between offense and defense. So with your question here, there's still only 5 positions between offense and defense that are the same since last year. So in my opinion, you got to make another change within your offensive guard or tackle, and then within your secondary as well. And you need to add another stud wide receiver to balance out between McLaurin. So that way, I know Noah Brown can be that, but he's not consistent. De'Ami Brown's a deep threat, but he's not like a top-tier target like McLaurin is. You need to get another, you got a 1A, you need a 1B, and then you've got the other pieces around you. That'd be a nasty offense. Another tight end, because Zach Ertz is only going to be there for so long. Ben Sinnott will be there for a while, and it will take a while to develop, but I feel like he'll be pretty good. But they also will need somebody to replace Ertz. So there's other moves that are coming within the next few years that it will take. But it's like a 5-year plan. It's the same thing with baseball. If you have a good 5-year plan, you have a good coach, and you have a good general manager, it's all important. They all got to be in cohesiveness. So if they remain consistent, they all work together, and somebody doesn't leave. If they can keep everybody together for 4 consecutive seasons, I can see, what would that be, 2027, 2028? I could see them make the Super Bowl by then. But they need to keep Cliff as the offensive coordinator. He needs to realize he's not a head coach right now and needs to see this through. He needs to get a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator, and they need to do this whole thing together. I think if they can keep it together, that's the big question, because an offensive coordinator has a great year. They go take a head coaching job somewhere, and then you don't get the right guy in to fill the void, and then your team isn't the same. We've seen it happen multiple times. So I think everybody here plays a part in this, but Jayden Daniels is definitely the X factor. It didn't look real, but to see it live would be insane. It was absolutely insane, bro. It really was. I'm standing there in the crowd. 25 seconds are on the clock. The Bears had just scored. They get the extra point. The 2-point conversion is 15-12. And there's a couple Bears fans in front of us talking smack. Oh, yeah. Told y'all we were going to come into y'all house, take over. I was like, man, I didn't come in here with the championship for nothing. We are champs, and it ain't over yet, even though I was bluffing. I'm telling you here on the podcast, and I told Paul Kelly in the car, I'm bluffing. I was bluffing. I didn't say it in the moment, but I was playing a mad game poker. Says straight up, this game ain't over yet. I was looking around. I was hoisting the championship in the air. I was doing all sorts of kind of shenanigans with 25 seconds left. Next thing you know, they go on a little run. McLaurin gets that little out route up to midfield. They got a 52-yard mother-fathering shot. Heaves that ball up in the air. And I mean heaves it to where we have the doink and the catch. And Paul Kelly and I are sitting right here, and we're sitting right here with the view. This is how we saw that play, because it happened right there in that end zone. And Paul Kelly and I are going absolutely wild in that moment. The crowd is going wild. Everybody who's pictured in this picture turning to one another, hugging one another. That guy, though, in the bottom right corner with the Bears hat is the one that was talking smack with 25 seconds left. And after giving everybody around me a high five or a hug, I turned him around. I grabbed him by the arm, turned him around, and dabbed him up and said, "Yeah, who's the champs now?" With the belt in the air, still wearing sunglasses, still having a great time. Yes, it was insane. But they question my sanity sometimes, so what do you know? But my personality you can't question, because most people have a pretty bland personality in comparison to me when I flip that switch, mother fathers. So yes, it's probably an insane moment. And yes, that guy probably did not like that I spun him. Like I literally grabbed his arm, spun him around real quick, and did all that with holding the championship up in the air. And because I got so many pictures and stuff of the championship belt by now, I did not bring it on with me in the podcast tonight. So yes, you do not have that tonight. But besides that, I appreciate that, Dante. I appreciate that. I really hope you get to experience it too. I hope you get to go to Lincoln. I hope you get to go into that field and see your team and have some pretty good seats like I did. They are not cheap. They are not cheap, but it is worth it if you can pick a good game. And what we were thinking, the number 1 pick versus the number 2 overall pick, it has to be a good game. You can't plan. You cannot plan what happened in that game. You cannot plan to experience it. You really can't. You cannot plan it. We planned a great day out between the videos I showed you earlier, the tailgate, pregame, postgame, between the pictures Paul Kelly got and Darrell got during the game. You can't plan for that type of experience. You can plan to have a good tailgate beforehand, which is what we did. Set the tone for us. We got there just during kickoff. I gotten the "We the Ones" foam finger, which I never get to say that. So I'm enjoying the moment, because before you know it, anything can happen. You know, whether it comes to players' health or just consistency of playing well. Anything can happen, and this can all change. The Eagles can still come back in the division. The Cowboys, I don't think, are going to come back in the division. They are got a long shot just as much as the Jets do, even though we all know what the Jets did tonight on Thursday Night Football, and they won, yes, but they still have a long shot of coming back. But I hope all of you, if you are watching this show, you're not even a fan of this team, but just a fan of me and want to check this out, I hope all of you get to check out an experience like that with your team and have it happen to you live. That was really cool. And I feel like it happens to real mother fathers. And there was a lot of real mother fathers in that stadium that day, and we all gave a little bit of luck to them, along with Jayden Daniels just being him at quarterback. So probably a lot more to that, but I think it all speaks volumes. Dante says, y'all can have Dotson back. No, I think we'll keep the draft pick. My man. I'm good. I'm good with the draft pick. I think we or y'all or 49ers will knock the Lions out of the playoffs. My man Hawk. If you are out there seeing this, I might have to make this into a reel to go on Instagram just to make sure you see this. Dante Hill says, I think the Eagles or the Commanders or the 49ers will knock the Lions out of the playoffs. If this was last year or before, I would say yes. I still have the Lions as my favorite for the NFC to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Probably against the Chiefs again. They're finding ways to win. Basically on the backs of their defense, because their offense is not what it used to be. They're struggling. They're trying. They're making moves and they're trying, but they're not what they used to be. It's their defense has got them undefeated right now. But my pick is the Chiefs and the Lions right here at the midway point of the season in the Super Bowl. He said the Cowboys, oh boy, his history repeated seldom. Y'all should win the division. Yeah, you like that part of what I said with the Cowboys. Yeah, I don't see them winning the division. But he also says Washington is playing with house money, and I think they have the unpredictable of the offense and a strong run game. Yes, they really do. In a solid defensive front when Allen's in there, and a pretty solid linebacking core with Luvu. I like what he's doing there too. But the secondary is still one of the biggest questions. If you guys get it working and get your play action going really well, you get your you get it going with Saquon to establish the run. Get a good play action going, you can exploit the secondary of the Commanders, and that's how you're going to win the game. But they already know that. They're professionals. Like the Eagles probably know that already. Hopefully Nick knows that, and they're communicating that already because they play each other very soon. Still have to face the Eagles twice, the Cowboys twice, and the Giants this upcoming week. Basically, half of the games left in the season for them are division games. It's a tough road, but I do like that they have a bye week that's later in the season this year. So their schedule, I feel like, is set up for them to really prove if they are the team that we think that they are after getting these wins, especially with how they played in the loss to the Ravens. They proved that they could keep up with the Ravens, and they've proven that they can definitely destroy the Panthers like any other team, and that they can win these tight games against really tough defenses to match up against, and that's what they did. Their Bears defense was out of gas, and Tyreek Stevenson showed his expletive, and it rhymes with the last part of that. So you know exactly where I'm coming from with that. But when it comes to the final drive, week 9, I've got the Commanders winning in a game against the Giants by at least 10 points, probably 10 points or less because it is a divisional game. That's my pick for this week. When it comes to everything else, I appreciate you all tuning into this, whether it was live or if you're checking this out during the replay. It means a lot to me. We've gone over just 1 hour and 15 minutes, and now we're approaching 1.5 hours. We will not quite hit that mark for this episode. But all I can say is thank you all for tuning in to episode 31. Thank you to my man J.KUL, as always, for the theme, for the intro and outro. I just missed him this past weekend, too. It sucks because he got there pretty late. He got there with enough time to take a couple quick shots at his car and then come on into the game. And then we were sitting on opposite sides of the stadium, but sending pictures to him and tagging him and stuff. And he knows the experience and saw the experience of me holding the belt up that I'll show you guys one last time before I get on out of here. But to have seats right here, looking with this view, for this play that was right in front of my face right here, I got to tell you what, it was an experience of a lifetime. This episode was definitely a special one for a lifetime to be able to look back, as well as to have someone from the losing team rock the championship after the game. Yes, I was on fire, as I have been with many things as of late. If you're new to the channel, as always, subscribe now and never miss out on new contents. We have new stuff dropping mainly Monday through Friday, and a wrestling show now on Saturdays, Monday through Saturday now with Corey Mann. So check it out. Stowstopper Media, we got content of brewing, content of stewing, and many things to come. I will be back tomorrow, one more day this week, with Total Football Talk Extra at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk a little bit of Canadian football. I got to talk about my Saskatchewan Rough Riders. So if you want to see me with some shenanigans, talk about Canadian football, come on down. Get you some, is what they say for Dancing Sporting Goods in my local area, where you can go buy yourself a gun, go buy yourself a fishing pole, or come on, get your biscuit down, breakfast time. So yeah, there's your shenanigans for the end of the show. But if you're new to the channel, whether you're watching this on Team MBS Media, whether you're watching this on Stowstopper Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome, or if you're somehow floating around in the sky near me and seeing me do this in person, because it is Halloween. Well, Halloween's over, but the ghost can still linger on into the next morning, so I guess it's still Halloween. So if you are floating around and you are watching me right now, just know that this production is brought to you by
Stowstopper Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Everyone, if you're out there traveling tonight, please be safe. Thank you for tuning in to episode 31. As always, please, going into this last transitional outro, stay mother-fathering safe out here in these streets.
Commanders, where my soldiers, right side, Commanders, where my soldiers, left side, Commanders, where my soldiers, watch the middle, Commanders, where my soldiers, now we set, where my soldiers, right side, Commanders, where my soldiers, left side, now we set, where my soldiers, watch the middle, Commanders, where my soldiers,
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
You don't have to go home, but you got to get your cell phone up out of here. Everyone, as always, if you're out there for Halloween, getting home, whatever it is, stay safe out there in these streets.